Continental Tour Silver Meeting, which means every athlete on that track will be running for ranking points that counts towards the World Championship. So he has sent us a message. He's also stuck somewhere in traffic. And the next point is the budget vote. The department will have the budget vote on the 12th of May in Cape Town. South Africa Walks is a new event that we will be having. It will take place in October. It is a project where all the people of South Africa are going to walk, become healthy. The president will be part of it. It will happen in all 9 provinces at one time. We hope to have 1 million South Africans walking at the same time. We've got different people. We want the grandmothers from Limpopo to the people in the Northern Cape. Every province shall be walking on that day. It will be organized. We want politicians, we want business people, we want students, we want learners. Everybody should walk, and so that we can become a healthy and well-lived nation. We are moving to the FIFA World Cup 2026. Before I tell you what we are going to do in Mexico in June, I want to tell you a story. It's a story that most of you in this room already know, but it's worth telling again because the ending has not been written yet. On 11 June 2010, at Soccer City in Johannesburg, South Africa kicked off the FIFA World Cup against Mexico. It was the opening match of the first World Cup ever hosted on African soil. In the 55th minute, Kagiso Di Gakoi played the ball through to the Mexican defense, and Simpuya Tshabalala, Shaba as we know him, stuck a left-footed shot in the top right corner of the net. The goal was the first goal of the 2010 World Cup. It was scored by an African on African soil in front of an African crowd, and the sound of Soccer City that afternoon is something that those of us who were there and those of us who watch it on television will never forget. Rafael Marquez, the Mexican captain, equalized sadly in the 79th minute. The match ended 1-1 in the 91st minute. Katlego Mpela hit the post. We all remember where we were when that ball hit that post. Bafana later became on 11 June 2026, exactly 16 years to the day after that match at Soccer City. Bafana will play Mexico again. This time it will be the opening match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And this time we will be the visitors in Mexico. The same 2 countries, the same opening feature, exactly 16 years later. That is not a coincidence that football gives you often. When history hands you a gift like that, you do something with it. Here is what we are doing with that gift. On 8 June 2026, 3 days before Bafana plays Mexico in the opening match, the legends of the 2010 Bafana squad are set to walk out onto a pitch in Pachuca, Mexico, and face the legends of the 2010 Mexican squad in a rematch. We were at the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, SAFA, and the South African Masters and Legends Football Association have been working together to identify 20 of the players and team management under Gordon Ingerson from the 2010 squad. The playing kit will be secured by SAFA through its sponsor Adidas. The venue and match are being hosted in partnership with Pachuca, whose club Pachuca Los Tuzos is one of the most storied football clubs in Mexico. We are deeply grateful to Pachuca for the role they are playing in making this also possible. This is not a match happening next to the World Cup. This is a match happening because 2 football nations with a shared moment in history decided to honor that moment properly. So we will be paying as a government for our players that played in 2010 to go again and for a rematch because that story is not finished. There's no winner between the two. So we need to set the record straight. So after that match, our legends will stay on. On 9 and 10 June, they will be conducting coaching clinics, sharing what they learned at the World Cup with young Mexican players and with South African diaspora footballers. On 11th June, they will be in the stadium as guests of the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture and the Deputy Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, and they will be watching the new Bafana Bafana game, players playing. So government will be responsible for their flights, their accommodation, and they stay in Mexico, and the tickets available to our squad. And this is just to say thank you to them for the joy and to tell them we appreciate our legends and we shall not forget them. To Shaba and to Melenkune, to the entire class of 2010, the country is not forgotten, and in June, neither will Mexico. Next point, the Kaya Center, our home in Mexico. The Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, wherever South Africans gather in the world, we need a place we can call a Kaya. From 7 to 12 June, DSAC, together with Brand South Africa and South African Tourism, will host the Kaya Center, the Centro Nacional de las Artes en Art in Mexico City. We'll open the Kaya Center officially on 7 June, where journalists, where members of the South African fraternity, where everybody that's South African can come and eat and drink and socialize. So we will be having a Kaya, South Africans will be well catered for. It will be a place to watch football for the games that we don't have tickets to. It will be a place to see South African art, to hear South African music, to eat South African food. It will be a media center for the journalists covering Bafana's campaign. It will be a fan park and a fan engagement space. It will be a venue for business and investment working, because when our flag is flying, our economy should be working alongside it. We'll also be present at the Aldea Global Center in Mexico City, alongside exhibitions from other 48 countries playing in the tournament. And up to 20 of our artists will be performing on stages at both venues, and it will be shown across the world. So the DSAC will be taking 20 artists and dance groups from South Africa to go and showcase their talent on the stages that is being provided for the countries. You'll have the world media there, and we have put together a panel of DSAC that will choose the 20 artists that will be going to Mexico at the cost of the department. We will also run smaller activation centers aligned to Bafana's match schedule in Atlanta and in Monterrey. These centers will activate around the fixtures. And superfans, a country of superfans. I know some of you came there for that. A country of superfans. I call it the Lucky Fan Program. I want to say a word about fandom in this country before I say what we're going to do. I grew up in a house where football was a religion. My father, a very poor man, would sit at the kitchen table and decide what to pay and what not to pay. Football tickets were always on the list of what to pay. I know my uncle and his friends, they would take the train all the way from Bloemfontein to Joburg just to go and watch Orlando Pirates. That football club was the whole center of their existence. In that era, wheelchair-friendly access to our stadiums was a rumor. Men in wheelchairs will come all the way from Bloemfontein to come and watch Kaizer Chiefs. That was the country I grew up in. It is very insulting to people like my father, to people like my uncle and his friends, and to the men and women who came to the stadium in wheelchairs when nobody was going to help them to get in, to call them anything less than the heart of the sport, to call them not super fans. Those people were super fans. Nobody paid for their ticket. Some were wheelchair bound, but they made sure they get to the stadium. Poor people paying their way to the stadium South Africa, I want to tell you today that those are the real super fans. Some of them didn't even have a place to stay or hotel to stay at. All they came for, they would sleep on the benches of Park Station to go back the whole night to see their favorite teams. So it's very insulting to not call them super fans. We are a country of super fans. Football and rugby and cricket are not a pastime in this country. They are what we talk about on the factory floor, what we talk about at church. What, you know, if the derby is on a Saturday and you go to church on a Sunday, the sermon, the pastor will mention something about the derby. That's who we are. The derby even finds themselves in the sermon. And don't make it your pastor as a pirate supporter. Even half the sermon can be spoken about. This is what we are launching. This word of superfan is very exciting. We are launching the Lucky Fan program. We are taking one lucky fan from every Premier Soccer League team to the FIFA World Cup in Mexico. Their flights, accommodation, ground transport, and daily allowance will be fully sponsored by 2 big companies. This department will assist with visa facilitation and match ticket allocation. So we're going to take 16 of the lucky fans to the Mexico game. Everything will be paid for by the sponsors that we have gotten. And we are going to launch their sponsorship very soon. The selection of who are those fans, those lucky fans, will be run by a panel of judges drawn from the best voices in South African sport. Robert Marawa, Andile Mabe, Vino Snap, Velile, Twasa, and a whole lot of other journalists that will form part of the panel to choose. And we will also give the criteria of what is going to happen on the pages of the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. The entry will be simple. You submit a 30-second clip wearing your regalia, explaining why you are the biggest supporter of your club. The rules of the competition will be made public. The judges will decide. I ask the media to help us to get this message out, because we want every South African who qualifies to have a fair shot at becoming their club's lucky fan. Going there is not that you are the best supporter. You are a lucky fan, because South Africa is a country of super fans. And I was very embarrassed when I went to the African Cup of Nations and I spoke to some countries that said that how they facilitate for their journalists to go to come to the African Cup of Nations. And we didn't facilitate for one journalist as the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. I want to say it here that the work of a journalist is, journalists are working for the public. They bring information to people that can't afford a football ticket. They bring information to people, and we have decided as a department that we are going to take artists, chefs, podcasters, and journalists to the World Cup. The list will consist of people that has attended all our press conferences. It shows that you've got interest in sport, arts, and culture. So everybody that's here today, you will make the list, and the people that was here previously, because you are the real journalists talking about sport, arts, and culture. We have the list, and the department will pay. Sorry, not the department. We got a sponsor that shall pay for the journalists to be there to bring the people the news. And you don't need to ask us to come with if your name is on the list of all our press conferences when we speak about art, because we take a lot of artists. Some people speak about they come here for dance, and that's the best way, because you have shown interest without knowing. You've come to the press conferences. So I want to say that what happens after this, if your editor decides you must not go or he must go, that's not my problem. We have the list. A World Cup is not only a football event, it's a cultural moment, and our cultural ambassadors travel with the team. We'll be supporting South African artists to perform at the Kaya Center and the other activation centers. We'll be supporting South African chefs to feed our fans. We will be supporting South African curious Mexicans who want to know what South African cuisine actually is in Mexico. We will facilitate their entry. We will be supporting the entry into Ekaya. We'll be supporting South African podcasters and journalists to cover the tournament and to tell our stories in our own voices. To those South African journalists, podcasters, and influencers who will go with us, you're not going to Mexico to cover a holiday. You are going to render service to your country. You are going to tell South Africans in their own voices and on their own platforms what the players are doing on the world stage. That role is not adequately recognized in this country, and it should be. The details of the selection process I've just made available. 2 of the acts will be taken to the World Cup. Amongst the 20 will be Mafiki Zolo and Mikasa. In 2026, Mikasa marks 30 years in the industry. 30 years of a sound-defined South African pop of songs played at weddings and funerals and everything in between, of a brand that carried this country's music deep into the rest of the continent. In 2026, Mikasa marks 15 years. 15 years of Jay Something, Dr. Duza and Moti writing and performing songs that move different continents onto the same dance floor. When we take Mafiki Zola and Mikasa to the Americas, we are not taking background music, we are taking the soundtrack of modern South Africa. They will go along with 18 other acts. We also want to announce to artists and encourage artists that they should record a World Cup song, which will be played at the Union Buildings during Bafana Bafana send-off by His Excellency Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, our President. Bedzi, Upiva, where's VAR? And wherever I go in the shopping centers, people ask me about VR. I can't. My son, who's 7 years old, said to me, Dad, the man at the gate at the school said, I must ask you, when are you bringing VR? So this thing is even in my house now. And I want to give an update on VR. You will remember the question of video assistant referee technology, VAR, in our domestic football has been a matter of ongoing public conversation. SAFA is on the verge of announcing the chosen supplier for the technology. And we have been assured that the installation of the equipment in the chosen VAR rooms can happen within a few weeks, to be followed by the specialized training for VAR technicians and referees. We have given the money. McKenzie and Mabe can do nothing anymore. We've given the money, we've given the rules of the money. So Mabe is having the same problem. When she goes to ANC meetings, the comrades ask her, when are you guys bringing VR? Because football connects all of us. So I want to put it right here, that SAFA told us in the next few weeks they will appoint the person, in the next few days they will appoint the person, and in the next few weeks they will roll it out. The money is by SAFA. There's nothing I can do than giving prayer now at this stage. We have kept our word. What we said we're going to do, we've done. Now I'm also going to pray, and when I see Dr. Denny Jordan at the game and the people say, McKenzie, VAR, I'm going to look at Denny, where's VAR? So I'm now saying, I'm now going to look at the president of SAFA. And the next one is, you've seen something that went viral about this little girl that's a chess master, but she cannot go and compete because her mother cannot afford it. I was inundated with people making me aware of that, and I want to talk about that. The department has made a conscious choice to put support behind our athletes in a way that addresses a problem that is bigger than chess alone. It is the problem of, if you can't pay, you can play. And if you cannot pay, you do not play. That's the problem. Rich parents can afford to pay. Poor parents are always the one, the children are going nowhere. And I have made that a mission, together with the DM, that this year we want to make sure, we can't take everybody, but we want to make sure that children with talent get to play in these tournaments. I mean, I cannot imagine telling a 10-year-old child, Mommy and Daddy can't afford. you must stay behind. We want to change that. It is not right. And we are starting now with chess. That is not the South Africa we want. A child who can beat the grandmaster should not be kept off the board because her parents don't have airfare. Chess South Africa, as many of you know, has come through years of administrative difficulty, years in which the organization spent more time in courtrooms than on chessboards. That is changing. Chess South Africa, under the leadership of Peace Mabe and Gayton McKenzie, is on a revival and growth path. And this department has chosen to walk that path with them. This year, when we investigated this little girl, we found out that not only does her mom not have money, but there are some moms that went to cash loans to go and borrow money for their children to take part in the competition in Sri Lanka, the Commonwealth, and another competition in Uganda. I was shocked at how many single mothers borrowed money so the children can get on the plane. So this year, I want to say we are funding all those kids, 34 South African athletes, chess athletes, to participate at the Commonwealth Chess Championship in Sri Lanka. The cost of that support is around 2 million. We are going further. We are also funding all 54 athletes to participate at the African Youth Championship in Uganda. The cost is also around 2 million. The parents that has already paid, we shall refund you. We're going to treat kids the same. There are some parents that we unfortunately cannot pay the interest of the cash loans. But what we'll do, Chess South Africa is receiving the money today. I can't hear you. Today? When? Next week. All right. Next week. Now the money man is here, so I want to know. As I was speaking here, I see his face. I'm like, hey, is this man giving me stuff here, Mr. Diba? I'm like, let me just put him on the spot quickly. Mr. Simpwe. So, to all the chess parents, we want to say to you, we are sorry that you had to come to that stage where you must go and make loans for your children to go and represent South Africa. We are deeply sorry, and we will make sure it never happens again. That's why we are paying for all the kids. We are not paying only for black kids, we are paying for South African kids. Even the parents that could afford, we are refunding you, because we just think that it is not right where your children are representing South Africa, but you must pay. And the kids that live in Eastern Cape, Mount Frere, that can't afford, has been told. It's very emotional when I heard how many of those kids were told, you can't go because I don't have money. And then the kid said, well, why am I playing chess if my best friend is going? So now all the kids are going. The department will be paying for that. And it matters, and I want to be direct about why this matters. In a country with our resources, there's no excuse for young South African with talent to be kept out of an international competition. I'm going to repeat that. In a country with our resources, there's no excuse for a young South African with talent to be kept out of an international competition because of money. When we find these young people, whether it is chess or athletics or any other code, the department must stand behind them. I want to share some news that reaches beyond one race weekend. F1. His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa has agreed to join me at Formula One Grand Prix later this year. This is a working visit, not a social one. Its purpose is to support South Africa's ambition to bring Formula One back to the African continent for the first time since our country became a democracy. Formula One has been here, but during apartheid. Formula One has not raced on African soil in more than 3 decades. In that time, the sport has returned to the Middle East, to Asia, to the Americas, and to every continent except ours. That is not acceptable, and it's not sustainable. An entire generation of young African motorsport enthusiasts have never seen a Formula One race in their own backyard. We intend to change that. The President's participation sends a signal that this ambition is held at the highest level of the South African state. There are criteria that any country must meet to bring a Grand Prix home: commercial, logistical, infrastructural, and safety criteria. And we are working methodically to meet every one of them. The President's visit will allow us to observe, to engage, and to strengthen our case. I will have more to say on timing on the specific Grand Prix in due course in coordination with the Presidency. I must also say a decision has not been taken. There are two very strong bets between Gauteng and Cape Town. So no decision has been taken about where it will happen. Cape Town has come with a strong bet, South Africa has come with a strong bet. We might take both bets to F1 because it's their product. We have to respect that. And they will tell us what they see. So on to the next one. On 18 July 2026, in Trafalgar Square in London, South Africa will put on a free open-air concert, the Scatterings Music Festival, for the day of Mandela's birthday. We have chosen the date deliberately. 18 July is Nelson Mandela's International Day. It is the day that the United Nations, at South Africa's initiative, set aside each year to honor Madiba's legacy of reconciliation, of dignity, and of service. We have let Nelson Mandela down. That's why there are some fools in this country that says Mandela was a sellout, because we have not told the story of the great Nelson Mandela adequately. South Africa has got London, the UK has the biggest anti-apartheid movement people that resided in the UK that was part of the anti-apartheid movement. The UK government, together with DSAC and the South African government, are working hand in hand to have the Mandela Day celebration at Trafalgar Square. And we have chosen the framing deliberately. We have also chosen the year deliberately. 2026 is a year in which South Africa marks several anniversaries at once. 30 years of our Constitution, 50 years of the Soweto Uprising, and 70 years of the Women's March. Taken together, they tell one story, the long unfinished journey for our freedom carried through generations. And we have chosen the framing deliberately. The festival is inspired by the music and message of Johnny Clegg and Sipho Mchunu, the two men who in 1969 met in Johannesburg when 18-year-old Sipho challenged a 16-year-old Johnny to a guitar contest, and who went on to form the band Juluka. That band and that friendship crossed the borders that apartheid tried to impose between South Africans. They saw together that culture can lead where politics cannot. I want to say something about Sipho Mchunu, specifically because he is still with us. He is one of the fathers of this music, and too often, in the way the story gets told, his name sits in the shadow of the name of his friend. That is an injustice this department can help correct today, DG. It was Sipho who taught Johnny the Zulu music and the Zulu dances that became the backbone of Juluka sound. The band took its name from a bull owned by Sipho, Juluka, meaning sweat in Zulu. Sipho's voice carried half of every song they recorded together. And in 1985, when the two of them had toured Europe, Canada, and the United States, and had platinum albums on the wall, it was Sipho who decided on his own terms that it was time to go home. He returned to his family farm in KwaZulu-Natal to raise cattle and to live the life of his people. That is a man who kept to his own counsel. That is a man who did not need that stage to know who he was. He came back for one more album with Johnny in 1997, and he remained Johnny's friend until Johnny's death in 2019. In 2018, the Durban University of Technology awarded the two of them honorary doctorates together. Baba Sipho will be part of the Scatterings lineup in London. And I want to use this moment to acknowledge that he is the co-creator of some of the most important music this country has ever produced. That is how we will introduce him on Trafalgar Square stage. And that is how history should record him. Trafalgar Square is not an accidental venue. It is the leading global cultural capital. It is home to a significant South African diaspora. It is a historic site of anti-apartheid solidarity. For decades, South African exiles gathered at that square outside South Africa House to sing, to protest, and to remember. On 18 July 2026, South Africa will gather in that same square once more, but this time not in protest, this time in celebration. The lineup is a generational one. It brings together Jesse Clerk, the son of Johnny Clerk, Msaki, Java, Trezor, Bittenberg, Zolani, Mahola, Jay Samtik, Zex Bantwini, Simi, Muzi, Sanyal Music, everybody. I even see Atta Mafukati here, and he just walked in with additional South African artists to be announced by this department in the coming weeks. I think Atta wrote his name here when my speech was there. A legend. Together they will perform, reimagine Johnny Clerk's classical alongside their own work in a single shared cultural music. Culture is changing in this country. It's taking its rightful place at the top. This is a free people's concert. And for the 21st century, it is South Africa's gift to the world on Mandela Day. And it is a reminder to South Africans at home and abroad that we belong by what connects us, not by what divides us. DG, you said I should not shock you today, but I'm going to give you a light shock. I saw when I came here, all the journalists that is applying to the UK to be part of that day. Can we also take some of our journalists? It's just a mild shock, DG. Can we just take some of our journalists with us? And then Atta will double as a journalist and as a Afrikaans style centenary. I want to turn now to a matter that sits close to a lot of people's hearts and sometimes sideways to the truth. On 9 May, the department will host a cultural commemoration of the Afrikaans language at the War Museum at the Boer Republics in Bloemfontein. The program will run from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and we are making provision for around 2,000 guests. The guest list is deliberate. It includes local schools, it includes the Griqua community of the Mangaung district, it includes the University of the Free State, the Central University of Technology, and the ATKFIA. It includes people from Tabapatswa and Heidedal. The lineup is great Afrikaans music, because I want to address head-on the issue and misconception that has followed Afrikaans for too long in this country. Afrikaans is not a white language. Afrikaans has never been a white language. It did not start as one. It is not one today. And the attempt to make it one at certain points of our history was a political project that did violence both to the truth of the language and to the people who actually carried it. Let me tell you how this language was born briefly. Afrikaans was born at the Cape. It was born at the Cape in the contract zone where Dutch settlers, Khoi and San, indigenous people, enslaved people from Madagascar, from East Africa, from West Africa, from Mugai, India, and from the Dutch East Indies, and what we now call Indonesia, met, lived, worked, and had to find a way to speak to one another. It's a Creole language. It was shaped as much as anything else by the slave quarter and the kitchen and the market square. For a long time, the colonial establishment dismissed it as kitchen Dutch, Kombuisstaal, precisely because it was the language of the people they did not consider important. The earliest written Afrikaans we have was not written by Afrikaners. It was written in the early 18th century in Cape Town by Cape Muslims, the descendants of the slaves brought to the Cape from the Indian Ocean. And it was not written in the Latin alphabet. It was written in Arabic script. Cape Muslim children learning the prayers in madrasa were writing Afrikaans in Arabic letters, decades before any nationalist movement claimed the language as a white possession. This is the actual origin story. It's an African story. It's a slave story. It's a Khoi story. It's a Muslim story. And it's only then it is also an Afrikaner story. The racialization of Afrikaans, the deliberate political project to make this language the property of one community and to hold it up as a symbol of white Afrikaner nationalism that came much later, It came through the Genootskap van Regte Afrikaners in 1875. It was hardened by the Afrikaner nationalist movement of the 20th century, and it was weaponized by the apartheid state, most notoriously in 1976, when the imposition of Afrikaans as a medium of instruction in black schools triggered the Soweto uprising and caused the lives of children. That history is real. I don't ask anyone to forget it, but the way you honor that history is not by conceding the language itself to people who try to own it. The way you honor it is by giving the language back to everyone it belonged to. Today, Afrikaans is spoken by around 7 million people. 7 million South Africans as a first language. More than 60% of those speakers are not white, including myself. The majority of mother tongue Afrikaans speakers in this country are colored South Africans. The Griqua community speaks Afrikaans. The Nama speaks Afrikaans. There are black South Africans, Muslim South Africans, mixed heritage South Africans, for whom this is the language of their home, of their grandmother, of their prayers, of their love songs, and of their jokes, not a borrowed language, their language. One of my favorite facts about this language, Afrikaans is the only language in the world that is named after a continent, Africa. That name says what the history says. It's an African language. So when the department holds a commemoration on 9 May in Bloemfontein, that commemoration is not for one community, it's for every South African who speaks the language in whatever accent, in whatever register, in whatever neighborhood. It is also pointedly a commemoration of those who've been told that Afrikaans is not theirs and we deserve to hear from the state that it is. We are doing this year into a centenary of the formal recognition of Afrikaans as an official language. June 16 commemoration, when I come to the end, and that brings me directly to the next item on our agenda, because there's a thread between the two. In 1976, Afrikaans has been an official language of this country for 51 years, and in 1976, the school children of Soweto marched not against the language itself, which, as I've just explained, never belonged only to the state that claimed it, but against its imposition on black children for them and to use it as a medium of instruction by a government that had no right to use any language as a weapon against children. The children of Soweto knew the difference. On 16 June 2026, we will mark the 50th anniversary of the Soweto uprising. 50 years, half a century, since between 10 and 20,000 black school children marched through the streets of Soweto to Orlando Stadium to protest the apartheid government's imposition of Afrikaans as a medium of instruction, and were met with tear gas and live ammunition. The first child to fall was 13-year-old Hector Peterson. The official count of death of that single day was 176. There's consensus amongst historians that the real number was much higher, between 500 and 700. Those children changed the course of South African history. The 50th anniversary is not an ordinary commemoration. It's a generational reckoning. Democratic South Africa, those children died for now reaches its own half a century. This department will stage the national commemoration at Orlando Stadium on 16 June. Orlando Stadium, where His Excellency President Ramaphosa has been requested to deliver the keynote address on the day. For now, I ask one thing of South Africans. Between now and 16 June, take the time to tell young people in your life the story of June 16, 1976, and to come to the stadium on June 16 to be part of paying tribute to our difficult past, not just as history, but as our inheritance. I have gotten a lot of calls regarding Live Golf. You've been following the news regarding what's happening, what the media says about Live Golf. I want to say something myself about Live Golf, because I know it has been in the news, and I know people have been asking, including in this room. The reports you've seen over the past week say that the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia is reconsidering its long-term funding of Live Golf. Those reports are real. Live leadership has confirmed that the league is funded through the 2026 season, and they are working hard to secure what comes next, which they will do for sure. This has been the story of Live Golf since the day it started. Every year, there have been people predicting that this tournament would not survive. Every year, Live has kept going, and every year it has grown the global game of golf in places that the old order of the sport has written off. South Africa is one of those places. When we first went out to get sponsors for Live Golf in South Africa, it was not easy. It was a battle. But with those brave sponsors that did join us, we delivered the biggest golfing event in the history of the African continent. Today, sponsors are falling over their feet to be part of Live Golf in South Africa because they have seen what it is and what it does. Without Scott O'Neill, the CEO of Live Golf, who listened to a South African minister pleading passionately for Africa to be given its time, and without our South African team, the Southern Guards, who opened the door for that conversation to happen, Africa would have been robbed of the greatest golfing event in our history. I want to thank them publicly today. Let me be direct about the PIF question. Seed funders, as a previous business person, seed funders put money into ventures to prove the model and to attract other funders. That's what seed funders does. That's how investment works. The PIF is no different. The fact that other investors will now take Live forward is a sign that the model is working and that it is not failing. I will also be honest about something else. There's something sadistic about men who want to keep the sport of golf locked inside certain countries and the preserve of certain people, when many of the best golfers in the world are not even from countries that are trying to protect it in. That is not stewardship. That is gatekeeping. Live has refused to accept it, and South Africa has benefited from that refusal. So let me say it clearly. Live Golf will go ahead as normal. The 2026 season is funded and running, and South Africa will host again next year. I want to thank the South African public, not only those who bought tickets for the first event, but the many thousands who have already bought tickets for next year's event. When you sang in Nkosi Sikelele, Africa at our event, I had tears in my eyes. I was too scared to look at the president because no man wants to let another man see his tears. But I suspect he also had wet eyes too. We do not yet exactly know how we will make Live Golf bigger next year than it was this year, but we are going to try. From 25 to 31 May, during Africa Month, we will lead a 10-man person South African creative delegation to Mzansi Atlanta Creative Industry Expo in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta matters to us. The time has come when the world sees South African artists. We are taking South African creatives, artists, dancers, theater people, we are taking them to the world. Atlanta matters to us. It's one of the world's leading hubs for film, for music, and for cultural production. It's a city with deep, long-standing ties to South Africa. Relationships that the Mayor's office has actively invested in through multiple trade missions in our recent years, and its 2026 FIFA World Cup host day. Our presence in Atlanta will be felt. We will go to Atlanta with our creatives. The expo is proudly endorsed by this department and supported by the City of Atlanta's Office of the Mayor, the State of Georgia, the Georgia Center of Innovation, and strategic partners across Atlanta's creative ecosystem. I will deliver a keynote address on the theme of collaboration and a shared future. The artists and the creatives will arrive with the Deputy Minister, and we want to make sure that South Africa is represented. Time for our creatives, our artists, our filmmakers to play small is over. We lead Africa, and we can lead the world. Amapiano is being listened to everywhere in the world. And some countries want to claim Amapiano as their one. Amapiano belongs to South Africa, and we are going to make sure that it is recorded as such in the books, and we are going to take our creatives to the world. I've also asked the MECs of Sport, Arts and Culture in each 9 provinces to bring artists and creatives in their province to attend this brilliant initiative. Program Director, let me close with these sentences. I'm very fortunate to have Peace Mabe as the Deputy Minister, because she does all the hard work and I do all the fun work sometimes. The Director General and the entire team that work and that follow all my crazy ideas. I know when you get home, you just fall asleep and you blame me because you are so tired for all the work we are doing. I've inherited a very great team at DSAC. And I want to say to creatives and to sports people and to everyone, give us a chance. For 30 years, I once saw an article that Brenda Fassie was asking Nelson Mandela for money. Our artist has been struggling for 30 years. We are not going to change stuff in 1 year. The ones that complain about McKenzie and Mabe, they've been enjoying the status quo. They've been benefiting from what was happening. Now that is changing. We want everybody to benefit through our clusters. Join the clusters, be represented, form part, let's work together. I'm not the type of person that is like a statue. Where I am, there's movement. Where I am, there's direction. And we are going to make us the top country with our creatives. Look at Black Coffee. Look at our artists that we have playing at Coachella. Shamsa played at Coachella. Look at Tyler. Look at Lady Smith, Black Mabazo. Maporisa and Kabza and them. The world must know them. Not these concerts, they go and come back. And the biggest thing we're having this year, which I must announce, you know about Coachella, you know about Rock Rio, you know about Burning Man, you know about Tomorrowland. But Africa is the only continent in the world that does not have a mega concert. We are the only one. We don't have a mega concert, a mega cultural festival. This year is changing. On the 24th of September to the 27th of September, we are having Mzansi Raw. Mzansi Raw. We are bringing 400 artists, creatives, fashionistas, filmmakers, crafters, painters. We are going to showcase South Africa to the world. It will be happening at FNB Stadium, at Nazareth, and at the Dome. It will be 3 days of dress to the nines, 3 days of music, 3 days of filming, 3 days of culture, creatives. We even have international artists that will be engaged. The department will go public with the company that will be hosting this, will go follow our normal tender processes. It's going to be the biggest mega event this country has ever seen. We want to make sure that our poets are there, our comedians are there, our dancers are there, our singers are on those world stages. We want to make sure that our designers are there. We want to make sure that South African cuisine takes a front stage and people taste. So whatever you do, make sure that tonight you clean your diary for the 24th to the 27th of Diabua. It's going to be the biggest first mega event in Africa.
Save the date.
Yeah, save the date for that. And as I said to you, we will have one-on-one interviews afterwards. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Gayton McKenzie. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump straight into the Q&A session as we always do. If you will be so kind just to raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you. And when you do ask your question, prior to that, just to let us know your name and also which media house you are from. We will take a show of hands for now. If I may ask that the colleagues at the back from Freedom Park just to give us the roving mics, if they are ready. It's ready? Thank you. Okay, there's a hand over there. Yes, sir. You can go first. Any other hands before we move? Second, and then third at the back, and then we'll take another round. Yes, sir. If you may stand, please, and also just acknowledge, please mention your media house in your name. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much, Program Director. Sending greetings to everyone present in the room. My name is Eddie Ngomane from Spadijova Media. Firstly, I just want to congratulate the department, for hosting such a very great, massive event at the Live Golf. I was there myself. I witnessed everything that happened, and I can imagine the impact that it had economically. So, my question, Minister, is based on the Mzansi Atlanta collaboration, wanting to understand what are the requirements, because me being in the media space and also interacting with the international distributors, I just want to understand what are the requirements so that we can be able to disseminate information to the filmmakers. I also stand in representing NAVF, because these are some of the issues that we are raising in making sure that the filmmakers get such opportunities. So what are the specifics for one to get such an opportunity? Perhaps the department will issue such statement on their department website, but we'll be waiting for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If I may just ask colleagues also just to keep the questions short, we'll go to the next questions. We've acknowledged that one. Second. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Minister, for your presentation. I just wanted to know, as I believe that you went to the Digital Games in Abu Dhabi last year, and I've just heard that the 4 teams that qualify for the digital football, which is Orlando Pirates, and there's a dancing and there's digital shooter. But I did not get to mention that these South Africans are going to go and represent the country. You're part and parcel of that as you attended the World Championships of the digital sport in Abu Dhabi.
Thank you very much.
I didn't even say my name. Sorry.
Please.
My name is Ayanda Holo from BRICS Africa Channel.
Thanks, Ayanda.
My name is Morris Khota from Now in SA and Promoters Forum of South Africa. Minister, I wanted to make a contribution in terms of what is happening in terms of 2010, in terms of the World Cup. You've touched up on very, very important issues about where the country comes from in terms of our liberation. So what is then happening is, in between June and July, it is the time that the Rivonia trialists, they were arrested in June and sentenced in July. We are working with Lily Sliff now in terms of making sure that it gets back to original, where people are supposed to recognize that right here in Gauteng, there's this important place where Mandela, Sisulu, Govanbeki, actually almost all South Africans in terms in social cohesion, from your Dennis Goldberg and Ahmed Kathrada. So I just wanted to request that the department should try to make sure that the Rivonia trialist within that time period as we prepare for the World Cup is part of it. But one last part, Minister. In Promoters Forum, we did make suggestions to the department. We're engaging the department the last 2 years, where we were actually suggesting to the department that it cannot be that people have been benefiting from the government for the past 5, 10, 15 years. In other words, I'm trying to say we endorse what the minister has done in terms of saying those people who have been benefiting from government for all these years, they need to give space to other new entrants. The reason why I'm raising this is because even in last week's article, this story has been recycling for a couple of months and all that. So we wanted to put it out there as part of creatives, that as much as the minister is leading this, yes, in creatives, we were also dissatisfied with that, where there are individuals and companies that were just benefiting for many, many years.
Mr. Morris,
Thank
can
you.
we get the question or it's just a statement? Okay. I'll take another question, a fourth one. That was more of a statement. Yes, sir. Can we please hand over there to the gentleman in the shades?
Minister, thank you for a very wonderful presentation. This level Congolese here. I just want to ask Minister, the world is changing now. We are going towards an era where AI is interfering with the music industry, is interfering with the film industry. I just want to know that going forward, there's going to be a huge change in Africa and South Africa that's going to be impacted by AI. What are we doing to put a strategy or a policy or something that protects the current creatives from the AI industry? And what are we doing to make them be able to use AI to advance them? So basically, what is the strategy for now, Minister, regarding AI in the creative industry? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll cap it there for now. Minister, if you will please respond. Thank you.
I think most of them were statements. I took note of what you said, Mr. Morris, regarding Lily's leave. We have been working with them. We have been helping them. We have been paying salaries at the time, and it was a very bad day. We are still in negotiations with them. So it is something that we are acutely aware of. In as far as the gentleman asked the question of how can they, thank you so much for the compliment regarding Left Golf. It truly was amazing. You asked the question, how could you get involved? The website, on our website, we will give all the details. I just give the line, the skeleton, they will bring the meat, and it will be on our website where you will get how do you get involved. And as far as AI is concerned, AI is a disruptor. And then I think if you look at AI holistically, AI is very good for this world. AI is unstoppable. AI is going to save many lives. AI is going to bring a revolution in thinking, and the ones that don't familiarize themselves with AI. Governments are having different governments on the African continent. We are having meetings. How can we mitigate some of the people that might be disadvantaged temporarily by AI? We're busy putting together a whole document which we will make public very soon, probably at our next press conference regarding AI and how it will impact and how we should prepare for that. I went to go watch the futsal in I think it was Abu Dhabi. I also know that Mexico is also hosting a huge tournament for different teams. And then we have a team, which is Orlando Pirates, that is going. I am meeting tomorrow with the Mexican people on Zoom, and we will then, after we get all the information, because I didn't want to speak about it here today, before I meet with them and say what are they offering for our people. But it is something I take very seriously. Something I enjoyed, and I take it very seriously. Thank you. I think I'll stand here the next round of questions so that we can move. If there's any other questions. Yes, sir. 1, 2, and the lady 3. 1, 2, 3.
Good afternoon, Minister. I hope you're well. My name is Dumisho Ingwane, B.Ed graduate at the University of Pretoria with physical education and school sports. I'm a newly endowed entrepreneur. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would greatly appreciate the opportunity to connect with you and know you, as I've knocked on many doors with my business. So if the opportunity does arise.
That's fine. You'll meet with the people will bring you to me.
Okay.
This is question time.
Okay, question is, how can the Department of Arts and Sports and Culture help with, because in my business, we do community upliftment in townships, so how can the department help with that?
You're going to get the meeting, leave that one. You will get the meeting.
Okay.
We want to give the journalist a chance to ask questions.
Good morning, Minister. Vuyo Makoba from Newsroom Africa. I think I asked these questions in terms of security the previous time we had the briefing. So I'm bringing it up again because another incident has recently happened now. Mexico's security minister came out, Omar Garcia, speaking about how they're going to try and make sure that more security is being lifted up. You are speaking about taking a number of South Africans to Mexico. Now, at the back of that, what are the conversations that you are having with him in making sure that the whole delegation that we are taking, including fans, including all the parties, are going to be safe that side? Are you having those conversations in making sure that South African fans are safe? And then in terms of the Lucky Fan program, just to make it clear for me in terms of the companies that are really sponsoring that initiative, and I'm asking this at the back of, because South Africans knowing at the back of the situation with Umama Joy that it was coming out of the South Africans' purse. So now, if you are clearing it out that it's coming from a private purse, which are those companies so that it can be clear to the public as well? Mama Joy has come out to say that she's got a sponsor. While we've got this whole group of friends that are going to be there and be ambassador, we can't take away that she is a South African billboard. Are you going to be incorporating her as well, or are you shutting the door from her?
No, I'm taking, let me just answer you on the Mexican one, and then I'll come to Mama Joy. The Mexican government, you know, I was in London. I was the acting CEO of a mine that was listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and the London main board. And I was in London at that time before the World Cup. And I got the same questions from everyone. Are we going to be safe? Are we going to be safe? Are we going to be safe? Because we would read continuously how bad the situation was. I went to Mexico, and I can tell you, I didn't have a bodyguard with me. We were walking around. Mexico is safe. Every country you go to, whether you go to America, whether you go to China, whether you go to come to South Africa, there's some places you just cannot go to. They warn you. Walking with your iPhone 17 there, in some places you will be relieved of that phone. And it is just standard. Now, we had the same issue with Live Golf, where one golf player was reluctant to come here. And Louis Oosthuizen asked him, why? He says, I was robbed in South Africa. They took my Rolex. And Louis asked him, which area were you robbed at? He says, Alex. He took a drive at Alex at night, which even the South Africans that wouldn't do that with a Rolex on their arm. Now, I'm not saying Alex is the only dangerous place, but also El Rado Park, some of the places we know where there's not a big police presence is dangerous. It's not the people. It is where there's not a big police presence. So, the part one of your question is that Mexico, I've spoken to the Mexicans. They have done everything to keep people safe. And I believe they will succeed because they are intentional about that. And if you're one of the people that won and you feel, hey, I might not be safe, I can assure you there's a million others that will feel safe and will take your place. As far as Mama Joy is concerned, you know, it was a running joke I had with Mama Joy when she introduced her husband to me. I said, hey, Mama Joy, did this man pay lobola? He mustn't take one of our roses here without paying lobola. And we joked about it, and she would always send me messages on social media, you know, the son-in-law, and all those type of stuff. So when I said to her, it wasn't disrespect. When I said to her, no, Mama Joy, now we must pay. It's simply because you asked me if I shut the door on Mama Joy. No, I can't shut the door, no one. If Mama Joy qualifies, she will go. But we must come out of this habit in South Africa where certain things are for certain people. That's a habit in this country. Certain things are for certain people. You look at what's happening with this criticism I get with art fairs. Why must other people stand in line and fill in forms and make sure their paperwork is in order, but others expect automatic to be given millions every year? But there's artists that fill in forms and they don't get money like, next year I might get. But some expect it to be automatic. If Mama Joy feels she wants to go there, I've got nothing. I don't even know Mama Joy's real name. I've got nothing against Mama Joy. I love Mama Joy. How do I find a lady like Mama Joy? She's such a lovable person when I met her. But I'm saying, this program is, the reason why I'm taking the journalist and not McKenzie is because I've got friends. My son owns a PSL club. I know the supporters of that club. No, I'm the wrong person to adjudicate that because I'm conflicted. So let me bring you guys, the professional journalists that goes to every match, that sees the people. And you will say, no, this one is the lucky fan. Let him go. So nobody is against Mama Joy. If Mama Joy wins, I will be happy. If she doesn't win, it's got nothing to do with me. People like Robert Marawa and Andile, these are people with integrity. These are not people that will listen to me when I tell them to do something that is not ethical. For me to prevent Mama Joy from going to the World Cup, I'm trying to open the space so everybody has a fair chance to go. If Mama Joy feels she's a super fan, let them make a video like everybody else. There's no VIPs here. We are all going. I've got nothing against, I love Mama Joy. I can't be that petty. So, there's many sponsors, even your company. I see you want Mama Joy there. Talk to your bosses also. Maybe they can help her to get there. Please, you can repeat the question.
No, I was saying, Minister, she's already funded to go. So
Yes.
the incorporation of her on the other side, understanding that she's also a South African billboard,
100%.
that
Oh, I hear what you're
whatever
saying.
has happened won't now hold her back from you bringing her in and remembering that she is a South African billboard. And then the Lucky Fans question was based on the companies that are funding the Lucky
No,
Fan
yes.
program.
What we have is the companies are going to have their big launch. One of the companies is going to have their big launch. And I don't want to steal their thunder, but the other company is Betway Cares. They've not spoken about the launch. Betway Cares is keeping our soccer with it. I mean, we have the Betway Soccer League. They're one of the companies that's paying for this. The other company is a very big, I'm not saying a name, but cell phone company and computer company and laptops and stuff. I'm not saying any names, but they will have their own launch. So it's a collaboration. We're also taking out money for some of the journalists. That Betway Cares is taking out money, and this company, which we are not mentioning, is taking out some money. So if Mama Joy doesn't have a ticket and she's there, how do we make her stand outside? So there's no, we can't be having war with our own people, man. Liane Mama Joy, sometimes she doesn't have tact. She will just demand here, putting me in trouble. Imagine if I give her, you are the first one that's going to write Mama Joy and McKenzie, there's something there, it's his favorite. Yeah, so I'm saying that there's nothing against Mama Joy. Everybody is special, including Mama Joy. There's no one more special than that one. If Mama Joy gets there and I see Mama Joy standing outside the stadium, I will swipe my credit card and make sure maybe I get a ticket. But this thing of paying 700,000 for one person, I don't look at you. It's finished. That one I'm not going to allow. So I hope I made it clear. So you say Mama Joy is going. So we'll meet there. All of us at will be there. Things will be right. Piso? So banana corner. Yeah. The question and then it's very after that. The lady. Madam, it's you.
Okay, let's just ask. Then I go to Soto Derby, Professor.
Oh, yeah. Let's give him
I'm just
first.
rushing to Soto Derby,
Madam.
Professor.
Please, sorry. Can I just apologize on his behalf? He did tell me he needs to go somewhere else.
Yes. Minister, I just want to ask about the VAR.
Yes.
You've said it that imali ihambile, ingelile safa. Did they give you timelines? Because you said this must be implemented next season.
Yes. Imali hambile, igeneli safa, die geld is bij safa, chelete itabaile, chelete iko safa. I don't know which other language I was thinking. But ihambile imali. I have given them timelines. The timelines is that next season, let me be as clear as I can be. If there's no VAR next year in SAFA, then there's corruption. Then there's some people that don't want VAR. Then there's some people that benefit from the fact that there's no VAR in this country. There's rules is changing. the ex-coach Arsene Wenger, works for FIFA. He's come with new rules in football that necessitate VAR. The new rules, if you're a football supporter like me, the new rules necessitate for countries to have VAR. So I want to make it clear to South Africans, what more can I do? I've done everything that I can do. We can't be beaten by countries like Tanzania. We are the best league. So I will not take this lying down. I will come public. Me, I'm scared of no one there. I will come public and I will name people to say, you are benefiting from this siga happening here sometimes that we see. Did you see that Stellenbosch game? A man stops the ball with a full hand. They said there's no penalty. What are these people doing? You know the PSL is the best run league on the African continent. We lack VAR. Here you have a minister and a deputy minister, Barichata, Imali. Bring that thing. Then, Baizaji. Then you're the one not taking, wait, we are not stupid. So I trust SAFA. I trust the PSL. But the timelines they have is next season. There's 5 games left. There's a FIFA break happening between those 5 breaks. There's a rest between the thing. But when we start next year, we must start with, we shall have a commission of inquiry. I'm saying that you must quote me on this. If there's no VAR, we will talk to the sponsors of these leagues. We will talk to the sponsors of SAFA. And we will talk to the portfolio committee. We will talk to FIFA. And we will then investigate, what is this? We can't be looking like we are a 10th world country. We are the leading country in Africa. So there will be VAR, Barat or Abarat. VAR must come so that we can see our teams must win. When they win, it must win on merit, not on bad referee. Allow me just to say something on the derby, because you spoke about the derby. There's something that's very disturbing that's happening with the derby, and I want to talk to the supporters. I go to rugby games, I go to cricket games. How come there's not this stampedes? Nobody dies at rugby games. People died at Ellis Park. People died before that at Orkney. You can't sit on a seat. They need to number the seats. Why can people go to rugby and you sit on your seat? But in football, we don't sit on our seats. Are we people of ill discipline, or are we not being trusted? I want to say, I'm meeting stadium management next week. Again, from now on at all the derbies after this weekend, we need you to have a ticket number. You need to sit on your seat. Nobody must cut corners. They must pay more security. For if I'm a lady and there's a man sitting on my seat, I must not argue with him. I must just tell the security, this man is sitting on my seat. And people don't go to the game at 1:30. If the game starts at 3. Can you please go early and let's not push each other? This is very dangerous. That's my plea to South Africans. Don't go there if you don't have a ticket. Don't go there if you don't have a ticket. Watch at home on TV. So I hope I've answered you with VAR. PSL is people wherever I go, people say we want to be part of the PSL. Bafana Bafana is qualified because of Diski, the Diski League. Our football is up there because of our Diski. The Dr. Irvin Kozan has done there is phenomenal. We mustn't think. So now I'm putting a cherry on that phenomenality by bringing VAR. The one that don't want VAR is just corrupt. If you don't want VAR, now you are corrupt. You like this madness. Yeah. If you don't want VAR as an official, you are corrupt. I spoke to Dr. Koza, he wants VAR. I spoke to Dr. Jordan, he wants VAR. Those are the two head honchos of our football. So I have no problem. The two bosses want VAR. The Deputy Minister wants VAR. Oh, Peace wanted VAR. Oh, Peace wanted now. I want VAR. I thought Peace, because the team keeps on losing, I thought she would want VAR. So, yeah. Yeah, that's it. So I'm saying that the police, please help us this weekend. People go early. Police, please help us with the traffic. Yes, Madam?
Hi. Afternoon, everybody in the room. My name is Gayton representing Spyland Jarvis Media, and I'm also an Negoreleni creative and sports enthusiast. So I figured, since hearing you talking about the issue about the young learner that had to participate within chess, and then the department is now doing what they can to actually intervene and pay for the kids and so forth. So I want to say thank you very much, Minister, for that, first and foremost, as a creative enthusiast myself and a sporting enthusiast. So finally, we have a minister and a team that is finally hearing our plight and is empathetic. So what I would like to actually look into and find out is that that particular situation is an isolated silo case. There are more and bigger other fields unlooked at, underfunded and even not seen. So that is not the only particular issue that we have when it comes to just the chess in itself. There's so many more other sporting principles and other creative codes where young people are participating and they cannot fully participate because of these financial barriers, also access to being scouted and seen internationally to be able to practice and do exactly that. So apart from this one case that you've actually noted, now we know there's a bigger conversation that needs to happen. What is the department doing further to now make sure?
For a compliment. Let me explain to you two things that I think when I took over here as the minister, that I think was not done according to the circumstances on the ground. Number one, I think sport and arts and culture was seen as entertainment. They saw it as entertainment. I didn't think that previously we saw sport, we saw the business of sport, the business of culture, the business of arts. Live Golf is a case study. We spent around 100 million all in to host Live Golf. Our ROI, the return on investment, was 1.3 billion. So people would just concentrate on what you outlay, the input cost, but not the output benefit. That has changed now. Even in government now sees the business of sport. They sees the business of entertainment. The second thing is there was less reliance on the private sector previously. While during our term, we are having an over-reliance on the private sector. There's people that are going, the journalists that are going, the creatives that Deputy Minister Peace Mabe is leading to go to Mexico. Those people that it is paid for by the private sector. The private sector, all they want you to report for every cent. Because they have their own separate boards they have to report to. So I can say to you, the crux of your question, when you say you're going to build 1 million houses, you don't build 1 million houses at one day, one time. You build 10,000 houses, but the person that's last in line can see, oh, they are coming to me. That's the very same thing that's happening with us. The last in line will see now we're paying for chess. So we will then, as our budget grows, as we get in, if you represent the batch, if you represent South Africa, we are the only country where people must pay for themselves and self-worth roles to be able to go and represent the country. That's wrong. And even you see the sponsorship. They came to me and said, go sponsor football. I was the one sending them to go and sponsor football because nobody wanted to touch football. SAFA is got sponsors now. They got Standard Bank, which has put in a whole lot of money in SAFA. They've got Honor. They've got a lot of people that is now Adidas, that is working with SAFA. And I'm right behind all of that. Rugby the same. You have Coca-Cola. You have Betway again. You have all of that. And you know one thing I've learned with the PSL is the respect that the PSL have for their sponsors. I tell you a story which I don't think you'll mind sharing this. There was a time when PSL scheduled a game which coincided with the activity of one of the main sponsors. And one of those sponsors called Dr. Irvin Khoza. And Dr. Khoza, instead of being defensive, instead of saying, tell me how to do the business, he profusely apologized and he said, we'll fix this. I wasn't aware of this. And that CEO of that company is telling me his respect for the PSL has tripled. It will always stay in the PSL because of the respect that the chairperson of the PSL has given him regarding that issue. One of the banks. And he told me, and I heard a story also from Dr. Khoza. So we have to respect our sponsors. Standard Bank should be respected. This company should be respected. Betway should be. These are people that says, we believe in this country, we put money in. So to answer your question, we want to get to a stage where if you represent South Africa, but I also want to warn mothers and fathers. You send me a letter, my child is going for trials. We need money. My child is the best, he will represent the country one day. Now, football does not work like that. If my son is a football player, when he went for trials, although my family could afford it, that club paid. You don't go for trials and you pay for yourself. If they want to sign you, no, Minister, my son wants to be signed. Stop sending your children overseas. Then we must go get them. If don't let your child grow to a place where the club wants him, and if the club wants him. Mbokazi didn't pay for himself to go there. They rolled out the red carpet for Mbokazi. So I'm saying, stop this thing where you send 8-year-old kids to go for trials overseas. It is not right. It is wrong. You send your child to a foreign country and you want me to pay. If something happens to your child, you're going to say it's McKenzie that sent him. I had a feeling I shouldn't send him. You know, people love to talk about feelings. It's just something in my blood told me I was not sent my child. But McKenzie, no. I'm saying I'm not paying for children to go on tournaments. Oh, my child is going to be Mr. South Africa, I must pay. We don't even know who she's meeting there. We will pay for people that represent the badge. Thank you very much. Here, there, and the lady there. You've had your turn. We're going with turns here. First times first. I'm taking over your job now, Stacey. Yes, madam.
Good afternoon, Minister. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bumi Manyisi from SABC Sport. I just wanted to ask something, sir. I don't know how much attention does DSAC pay onto women's football. We had a situation with WAFCON being postponed. Now we're having a situation with the domestic league. I'd rather say there's no communications with regards to the domestic league. It was supposed to start this weekend, as far as I know, but there's no communication coming from the mother body, the association. Are we going to have DSAC at least coming in to intervene in terms of assisting to help grow women's sport? And obviously, in terms of growing women's sport, we need things done correctly, even administratively. It's April now, and the league has not started, and we don't even know when is it going to start. And also, in fact, the clubs have been also sending questions about the league, and there's been no response whatsoever.
Right. No, thank you. If you know what, I can tell you the deputy minister, and I don't want her to say this because it will look like she's praising herself, got Sasol into our office. She got sick on that day, I remember. She's like, Minister, cancel everything. You have to meet with Sasol. But she still came. Securing again, sitting with Sasol and praising Sasol for putting in 45 million in women's football. Being intimately involved in making sure Sasol gets the respect they deserve. When Sasol was unhappy, it was the DM once again. I wasn't there, making sure that problem is sorted out. Number two, you talk about the women's for WAFCON. It is here. There was no date. We are the ones, the two of us, that made sure a date gets announced, because we said you will not treat women's football like that. This morning, the DM told me she can't go anywhere because she has to deal with this matter of the leak. The deputy minister has made me better when it comes to women's sport. She's made me go and watch the rugby. She's made me, she puts us on our toes, because we men sometimes, we forget ourselves. You will be so invested in male sport sometimes, but she has been the one that has made me so conscious. So when I speak about sport, I always include women's sport. She make me go and watch netball. Now I go and watch netball without that my daughter thinks I'm the best dad in the world, because I have a colleague that makes sure that women's football does not sit and be ignored. So we are on that case.
Mr. McKenzie, again, I'm going to take this opportunity because I do see Akani here, so just shifting a bit to athletics. And that is at the back of celebrating Akani in terms of the work that he is doing. And now we've got a continental event that's coming next week. They'll be covering, it's got all the great athletes also showing up to South Africa. But at the back of that, which I think might also be a conversation that we have with him to shed more light with you, you've had a strong hand in a lot of the federations in terms of the internal things that are happening inside their departments, which are not good, whether it's financial, whether it's the squabbles and all of that. I wanted to understand if you have light of what's happening at Athletics South Africa, because the way it is a mess, if I can find an even better word for it. And this, while the guys like Akani are striving to make sure that we have such events, and because we've also got all the resources here, what's happening internally is shedding a bad light for South Africa, because even World Athletics today has already got an eye on South Africa, and it could hold us back in even hosting even bigger events that, yes, we are celebrating that Botswana is hosting it as a Region 5 country, as a neighbor to ours, but we also need to be holding that because we do have the resources. What strong hand are you putting at athletics? What is their response from their side? Because, like I said, the only word that I can find for what's happening at Athletics South Africa is it's a mess. And then just secondly, in your closing, please give us a prediction for the Soweto Derby this weekend.
You really hate me. Let me explain to you, and Akani is here. What's happening at ASA is not a mess. It's a hot mess. What Akani is putting together nearly didn't happen. And he must tell me if Akani tried everything to get a simple letter from them. I found out about Akani then, I was his last stop. Minister, if I don't have that letter today, this whole event, and these people said they are sending me from pillar to post. I said, Akani, drop this phone. I will call you right now. That letter my DG made sure that letter comes out. I've been holding Akani's hand. He's a visitor. He's like now, he's one of my sons at my house. Because he does not wait for the office. He gets himself to my house. We sit, we strategize. I've learned so much about putting, even if Akani doesn't want to put the event together, he's taught me everything how to put this event together. I will call sponsors on the line when Akani was there. So, to say to you, one, ASA is going to know what time it is very soon. Basketball South Africa went the same route. I didn't play with them. We are not here to play. That's one. I'm coming to ASA through SASCOC, and I'm coming very hard. I don't have time to play. Number two, I want to give Akani time just to tell the world what he's doing this time again. But I want to congratulate him for the tenacity. He did it. I remember I was late for our first meeting. And I was like, what arrogance is this? When he came, I said, before he talked, why are you late? Because it's not good to be late. He said, I couldn't leave. My training happened at a time that the meeting. And I was like, wow, this is the discipline. He knows what's important. And Akani, on behalf of our country, what you've put together is a masterpiece. But I want you to tell the crowd that's here, the journalists, the esteemed journalists, and invite the people. Please buy some tickets. And if you have a child with any disability, as a parent, if you have a child with any disability, we have given Akani money for children living with a disability and their parents to gain free entrance with food. Because parents with children that got a disability is that para-athletes, they go everywhere with their kids. We want to give them a break, not to pay, to come there. And if you want transport, arrange, talk to Leon of SASCOC, you all know Leon. But to Akani, thank you, we are so proud of you. But please, just tell them about the event, what you've done.
Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Firstly, to the Minister, thank you very much for the platform, and also thank you for the support. I think without you and your department, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be a week away from the competition. So we are hosting the World Athletics. Well, we're hosting World Athletics in South Africa. We usually, as South African athletes, always have to go to Europe to go race, to go try and make some money, to try get world qualification points and try to qualify for the Olympic Games. But now World Athletics has given us the opportunity to host that here in South Africa. This is the first time that we as a country are getting to invite the world to be a part of the world tour, and also to actually see our country and actually see how South African athletics is done. But for me, the push for this was because I've seen how South African athletes have the talent but just don't have the access or ability to get into Europe or to get into the leagues to be able to qualify. So having this type of competition here gives them that access to do that, and gives them the ability to earn money here in South Africa and not have to go overseas to earn the money. And yeah, I think with the support of the department, I just want to say thank you to them as well. And yeah, man, we are starting a new trend and a new path to actually grow the sport and do better for the sport and put athletics in South Africa in a positive light. And yeah, I think with this, we will start gradually and start with this competition. And hopefully, I told the minister, if we get this thing right, we'll be able to grow us into a diamond league. We'll be able to grow to a point where we track World Athletics again to say, okay, guys, we've seen what you guys have done with our product. Now take the World Championships and host the World Championships. So that's where we're at with it. And yeah, so we are having international champions come, world champions, world Olympic champions that are coming to run next week, Tuesday. And yeah, if you're really interested, go to simbeniclassic.com, and the minister said he is buying tickets for the disabled athletes and disabled kids to come experience what it's like to have an international competition here. But also, this is important for the juniors and the kids who actually believe in the dream of becoming professional athletes. I think a lot of people think being a professional athlete is not a real thing, and I'm a testament of that. I've become a real thing, but now I need to I want to bring it home. And I want the guys here at home to be able to believe and actually become professional athletes through this. So, yeah, next week, Tuesday, at Pilgrim Stadium, we'll be hosting the world.
Thank you. How much is the ticket? The cheapest one? 60 rand. I can see he's not a person that sells 60 rand. Yeah, and the expensive one for one piece, I'll be there by 60. For a piece, there are 30. Thank you. Pardon? Yeah. Siba, You must swipe now. So, we want to say thank you very much. We're going to have some lunch. This is the last question, then we'll have one-on-ones.
Yes.
Madam?
Madam Minister, Maloni guys, igama lami nguSibongiseni, I'm from Youth Survival. It's an NPO. Just to be short, sir, I want to ask, is it possible for your department to introduce sports and arts and culture in the NPOs? Because it's like there is no sport, there is no art, there is no culture there. It's just like some simple skills like computer and all that. So it would be nice if we got some in the NPOs. Thank
Melissa,
you.
you'll meet with no stand up Dimasio. Just you exchange numbers with Melissa.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming. We are sorry about the traffic. The prediction, I know, I'm coming to the prediction. The prediction, maybe it's our time to tell South Africa, I'm not a Pirates supporter. I'm not a Chiefs supporter. I'm a Siwelele supporter. I've never supported any other team in my whole life. But I can tell you Pirates is going to win 2-1. The reason why Pirates is going to win is because Pirates is on a roll. It's on a roll, 2-1, and I think they're on fire this time. So why I like the derby, when I said was the Cosas and Chiefs win, I can laugh. I said it was my friend Jessica, if Chiefs loses, I can laugh. I'm not emotionally invested in that. So yeah, I was at the Siwelele game. I was emotionally invested. Ask Ato Mafukati. When the goal went in, I jumped up. But Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates, the institution. And I want to congratulate both teams that they have a good derby. They have truly carried football on their backs. Those two teams are institution. Mamelodi Sundowns is the top team in Africa at the moment. I want to congratulate. I don't think we say enough what the Mutsepes has done for football in this country. The Mutsepes has done a whole lot. And I'm not talking about Patrice only, Dr. Patrice. I'm talking about his son, Kloppy. He has been a phenomenal chairperson. He has built a world-class team. And I must congratulate Kloppy for building Sundowns into what it is today. He's a hard-working chairperson that if you didn't know his age, he was sure he's in his 60s. And let's support our football. And my eye is more on the league. If you ask me who will take the league, I must first go speak to